Well, hello. Big Ass Spider. Probably the most appropriately named movie ever in the history of time, because that's what you got. So, if you're new to the channel, watch a movie and I sit down and I yak about it, and that's about it. It's a run-on episode, no script, no real prep, as you can already tell most likely, and no jump cuts. So if that's fun, awesome. If not, peace. Spoiler, you know the drill. Talking about the movie, so if you don't want anything spoiled, skip ahead to the timestamp that says thoughts, as long as it doesn't say spoilers in it, because sometimes I'm brilliant. Yeah, or don't watch it, one or the other. Whatever. Anyway, big ass spider. So what do we got? Well, we got a big ass spider. We start with our hero of the story, Alex, who's I was going to say an entomologist. No, he's not. He's an exterminator. Yeah, he's an exterminator. He's taking care of some pest problem at some old woman's house, and she like flirts with him, and it's awkward and whatever. It has no consequence to the story whatsoever. Anyway, there's a spider that ends up biting him, and he says it's a brown recluse, which like that's like the most venomous spider, I think, one of them in the world. Anyway, I don't know. It might be the worst. I don't even know. But anyway, it bites him, so he goes to the hospital, and it turns out that someone else has also been bitten by a spider, and they're in the morgue, and the mortician comes out and he's all freaked out and says there's a big ass, well, not, he doesn't say there's a big ass, you know, he does actually. I think he says a big ass spider. We say that a couple times in here, so I mean it pays off. Anyway, so Alex decides, okay, well, I'll go take care of it. Tell you what, you take care of this bill that I just was given for my hospital visit, and I'll take care of that free of charge. And the director's like, fine, whatever. So that's the deal. We're also introduced to Jose, who's the hospital security, who is the number 2 of this little endeavor here. So he goes down, and they're looking for the spider, and they find it, and it's huge. And they end up chasing it into the vents, and there's this whole thing. Yeah, this spider, by the way, it like burrows into people. So when they found the corpse, it like was inside where their organs would be and all that. And when it bit the guy's face, his neck was all like puffed and gross. Anyway, things getting bigger. He ends up going into vents, like I said, and gets stuck in some web and all that slapsticky kind of stuff. And sees the spider scurry by, and he's like, "Whoa, okay, that's huge." So I guess he didn't realize how big it was. Anyway, it gets out. The military shows up at this point too, because this is like a top secret thing they've been working on apparently. So we have Tanner, who's like a major or a corporal, major or a colonel or something like that. I can't remember his exact rank. And then we have Brandt, who's his lieutenant. And they're kind of trying to take care of this little situation. Anyway, they end up working together with Alex. I'm going to try to blow through this story quickly because I always ramble on too long about these, like the plot of everything. Anyway, they go on this wild goose chase, and initially the major is not really wanting to work with Alex because like you're an exterminator and this is like a top secret project that we know way more than you do about it. Anyway, so he goes on his own way, and the military goes and does their thing, and they end up like, there's this little side story of Alex having the hots for Lieutenant Brandt, who is played by Claire Kramer, who you may know from either Bring It On or Buffy the Vampire Slayer. So anyway, she's in this. That's fun. She's the love interest. So this lieutenant, she's kind of badass too. So right on. Still needs rescuing though. Yeah, I know. Spoiler alert, but I already said that. So whatever, we're covered. Anyway, they end up chasing it to this park, and it like, its attacks are really interesting. Like it's stabbing people with its legs. They're like spears. There's just killing people for the sake of killing them. Basically, it's shooting some in webs and taking them. And it also has the ability to spray acid. So there is one scene of one guy who gets sprayed in the face by acid, and you see his face melt. So that's kind of cool. What does the spider look like? It's like a black spider with kind of like a frill that like, I don't know, not quite like a Dilophosaurus or whatever, but it like up the back of its head, it kind of like, you know those little dancing spiders that like dance and they like flip their abdomen up or whatever it is? It's kind of like that, but it's not an abdomen. I don't know, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's it turns out it's part alien, so that explains it, and it's growing rapidly. So The mission here is to stop it before it hits stage 5. Now, what is stage 5, you may ask? Well, reproduction. Yep. How does the alien spider breed? I guess it's asexual. I don't know. Anyway, I'm talking about this movie in a tone that makes it sound like I did not enjoy it at all, but I actually did enjoy it quite a bit. So take that for what you will. Now, where were we? Well, yeah, they get to a park and it's stabbing people and wrapping them up and taking them. And the military, of course, comes in and does their thing and gets, like, eradicated. And Alex and Jose show up just as the military stuff's going on, and they see Brant hiding in a tree, but she's stuck in, like, spiderweb stuff. So he goes and he figured out that this stuff is susceptible to fire, right? So, like, bullets don't hurt it and everything, but the web is flammable. So he basically heats up a knife and just uses the heat to cut through it, whatever. And then they're like, well, how are we going to kill it? And he's like, fire. Huh? And there's a whole thing about they're going to shoot a bazooka into its butt, or up its butt, or something like that. He says spinnerets initially, but Jose is like, so in its butt? And he's like, yeah, basically. So anyway, that's the plan. At this point, he's like, okay, well, the Major reluctantly decides to work with Alex now, realizing, okay, like, you've been tracking it just as well as we have. Maybe you know some stuff about spiders that we can, you know, utilize. Anyway, that's when the whole reveal is it's not fully an alien. So what they were doing is they were using alien DNA to create rapidly growing crops. But one of the crops that was doused with this chemical or DNA or whatever it is, or injected or something, or whatever they did with it, there was a spider on it. And so this one spider has been a thorn in their sides, just trying to make farming easier. Anyway, so Alex says, okay, well, one thing I know about spiders is if it's going to go lay its eggs, it's going to want to do something, or it's going to want to do so away from the public. It doesn't want, it needs somewhere quiet and safe, right? So they're like, okay, so like the suburbs. He's like, no, like even further than that. And they're like, okay, so outside the city. He's like, yeah, probably, like, is there like a national forest or something? Or I don't know if he says that exactly, but whatever. And then on the news, you see the spider right in downtown climbing up buildings. He's like, or it's downtown. So lo and behold, it's downtown. Anyway, I think at this point they're under the impression that Brant is dead. But it's revealed that she's not. And he's like, okay, well, I gotta go save her, obviously. Tanner, the Major, is kind of supportive of that. Apparently they've had like a long, like, serving history together or something. So he's like, okay, like, go get her, buddy. You know, like. And Jose, of course, joins because he's a self-described, was it Tonto or Kato or whatever? I don't know. That's even older than me, if you can imagine. So Lone Ranger, his sidekick, whatever that was. Tonto! Holy fuck. Anyway. So that's Jose. So he tags along. And they go to the city, and forgot to mention at the very beginning, the first scene you see of this film is the precursor to the climax. So Alex, your exterminator, who hasn't been named yet at this point, waking up in rubble, and there's a giant spider swatting at Apache helicopters on a big tower in LA. That, I can't remember what the tower is called. It's the, like, roundish one. Whatever. Anyway. I haven't even been to LA, so that's my excuse. Yeah, so basically all that happens, and then it replays that intro scene of him waking up. I guess he was, like, knocked down or something, and all that shenanigans. So he decides, okay, well, Brant is in the, well, her name's Carly. I'm just going to call her Carly. That'll be easier to remember. So Carly is in the big-ass tower with the big-ass spider swatting at the helicopters on it. And so he goes in there, and all these little baby spiders start hatching, and they start trying to rescue people as much as they can, and he frees Carly and all that, and they're kind of, you know, saving everyone, and one woman's like, oh my god, help, and they're like, okay, come here, and then that's when you see all the little spiders just, like, get her. They're like, okay, well, we can't help her, and they just, like, ditch her, and she's still alive and screaming, but whatever. Yeah, good times. I will say, Carly is a very good shot. So with her little pistol, she's taking out all these little baby spiders. So good on her. And they end up on the street doing the plan. So Alex runs straight for this big ass spider, and Jose is kind of on the sidelines running with a bazooka, and as soon as Alex gets under it so that he can, like, aim at the spinnerets, Jose throws the bazooka, and humorously it's short, so it like falls on the ground, and Alex has to go and run grab it. So good job, Jose. And yeah, shoots it up his bum. Spider explodes. Fantastic. Yeah, and then he gets to smooch Carly. So all's well that ends well. And then there's a little post-credit scene where Tanner calls up Alex and is like, "You got any other? Are you an expert on other bugs as well?" And they show a giant cockroach in some other city. I can't remember which one. And then they play La Cucaracha, and then they fade out, and that's the movie. Roll the second half of the credits. All right, so what did I think of this one? Fun. It's stupid and fun. So, okay, I have to make a correction on my Lake Placid review, because I think at one point I said that it was trying to take itself seriously, and no, it wasn't. Like, I had one of my friends like flat out say to me, like, "That's supposed to be a comedy." I'm like, "I know," and they're like, "Yeah, but you said this." And I'm like, "Okay, I'm an idiot then." So, that said, this is even more aware of itself than Lake Placid was. Like, Lake Placid was aware of itself for sure, but even it was a little bit more serious than this. This is just like a flat out parody, so you go in knowing exactly. It's called Big Ass Spider with an exclamation mark, so I mean, that's what you're getting, right? A big ass spider, and all the shenanigans that would go along with that being the plot of the movie is just that it's a big ass spider, which, in fairness, is kind of a throwback to the 50s, where they just made all those take a regular thing and make it big movies, right? With a modern twist, throwing the alien DNA in there and all that stuff. Anyway. Did I spoil it? No, I didn't. I just said that it was a weird mutant spiders. Anyway. That aside, some of the gore was actually kind of not bad. Like, there was that scene where a guy's face is, and so that was done pretty cool, and I don't know. The way they did the spider, I don't know if it was like fully CGI. Some of it looked like stop motion almost, which, if so, that's very cool. There's something really creepy about stop motion video when it's done very well. And it's like the unnatural jankiness of it. I don't know if that's a word. But the unnatural jankiness of stop motion footage, and again, even when it's done really well, just makes it that much more unearthly and creepy, and in my opinion really works. Like in the Terminator, like the 84 original, there's stop motion when it's like damaged and like limping towards them, and that actually worked for me because it looked mechanical and creepy and not like a person. So in the same sense as that working for me, it won't work for everyone obviously, but there is one scene where it's running like across the screen, and it really genuinely looks like stop motion. But I'm going on way too long about that. The CGI looks like CGI. I mean, it's not gonna get any best visuals or whatever for a movie or something. I don't think it took any Oscars home, believe it or not. But for what it was, like a parody movie, everyone played their part pretty well. Like they took their character and they knew exactly what it was, and they made the character work. So good on them. The premise is fun. Again, giant bug movie. Sort of a throwback to the old school. I don't know if we've had anything like giant buggy at that point. When was this out? Was it 2013? Or was it like 2005? I don't remember if it was like near Cloverfield or not. I'm not good with dates, forgive me. I don't think it was. But anyway, it's fun to see giant thing movies that, like, I mean, we're getting them now with like Godzilla and everything, but you know what I mean. Anyway, whatever. That said, did I enjoy it? Yes, I did. And should you watch it? I mean, yeah, it's funny. It's stupid and dumb and turn your brain off funny, and I say go for it if you're in the mood for just some stupid adventure with ridiculousness and you don't have to actually think about anything. Then absolutely it's an entertaining little film. Now, well, what should I rate it? That's a tricky one, because I don't remember what I rated Placid. I don't remember what I rated any other parody funny movies I did, like Dracula Dead and Loving It. So I don't know. I can't comparatively rate it, so I'm just going to rate it off the top of my head, and if it's wrong in the order, too bad. It's the official rating, so I'm going to give it a... Jeez. This shouldn't be this difficult. I don't know, a 6.3? 2? Is that good? I don't know. Yeah, it's fun and enjoyable and stupid. Like I said, there are some movies that are more, they're better movies that I probably rated lower, but the sheer enjoyability of watching the stupidity of this film puts it higher for me. So there you go. 6.32 if that's what I said. And if not, then this one supersedes the other one. Anyway, we'll leave it at that. Yeah. Wow, I actually did a video under 20 minutes. Okay. So yeah, blasting through the synopsis is going to blasting through what I'm trying to say shouldn't be a thing, because clearly I can't do that without messing up my words, but blasting through the synopsis should be a thing that I consider more frequently. Anyway, that's it, I suppose. We'll leave it at this. Wow, crazy. Less than 20 minutes. And yet I keep talking, not specifically to push it to 20 minutes. Please just press stop, because I'm going to be rambling on. Thank you. Okay, bye.